All right, so we have an NBA hoops here. We are going to repair the center housing that covers the gate. As you can see there, all the screws have fallen off. They usually just come with a couple, with just screws you screw into the wood. Over time, from stepping in there, employees going in there just kind of fixing things and just taking care of things, maybe cleaning things, they might step on that. I usually try to tell them not to step on that, but sometimes they do, and eventually it does wear the screws down. Plus the basketball's hitting over and over again. That doesn't help as well. So we're gonna fix it permanently, or at least my way. What we're gonna do is drill some holes all the way through it and use the actual T-nuts that they send us for the backboard. So let me show you that real quick. All right, so here we are. I went ahead and this is this hole right here is the original hole for the T-nut. It holds their little T-nut right here, this one right here, and this one right here is an actual hole for the T-nut. So what I did is I went ahead and drilled all the holes out. So I'm going to put T-nuts on all of them, like that, all the way around. And then I'm going to use a piece of tape to just hold it on there, so then when I go screw everything back together, I don't have to have another person on this side. Plus, you know, with the gate being there, it's kind of hard to stick your hand through the gate and tighten everything up. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, just to show you what I'm saying, like I said, T-nuts all the way around, and I put pieces of tape or duct tape on it just to hold it in. This tape is not going to stay there. Once I screw everything together, I will peel the tape off and it'll look nice. That way it doesn't just look like big old holes and stuff like that. It'll look kind of the way it's supposed to be, although done by me. So let's go ahead and put some tape on the rest of them, and then we can start screwing the inside back to it, and then we can do the other side. All right, so we have our tape on there. I like to try and make them as tight as possible so it keeps the T-nut as closest to the wood as possible, as tightest to the wood as possible. Otherwise, it will kind of start turning there inside there, and then I'll have to get someone to push on it while I actually screw it down. But like I said, the tape is not going to stay there. Once we get the screws on, we will remove the tape. So let's go on the inside and put the screws together. All right, just to show you some of the hardware. This is the T-nut right here. Your kit, if you do buy a kit, have a large kit that I purchased just to have spare parts, because these parts do sometimes get lost. Anyway, so you have this one, which is for the backboard. You have this one that kind of holds the cage on. You can see it right there. That's for that one. And then there's this one right here, which is just usually for the ones in the corner. But these are the two ones that I'm going to be using. You don't want to use this one right here, because it's a little too long and it won't screw all the way into the T-nut. You would think you have spacers and stuff like that, but you know, the shorter one is really the best one. It's perfect. It's long enough and short enough to go in and tighten up and keep everything nice and tight. The longer ones, try not to use those. If you do, cut them down so that way they won't be too long. So I'll just kind of screw it together so you can see it. Give me one sec. All right, so this is what it's going to look like. So let's pretend this is the back wall already on the other side. As we screw this down, it's going to keep everything nice and tight. So you will have to do some drilling. So you're going to have to drill out the holes all the way through to be able to fit the T-nut. Then you're going to have to drill the holes on the metal to be able to fit the actual bolt in there. Usually it takes some smaller screws, this size right here, square head. But like I said, they keep falling out. They get lost, and I don't want to deal with having to keep putting square heads back in. So this is going to be sort of a permanent fix. Yes, every once in a while we might have to go here and tighten them up just to make sure they're nice and tight. But other than that, that's really it. So let's go ahead and just put some of these screws in, and then we can work on the other side. The other side is pretty bad as well. They're missing their spacers, so we're going to put those bad boys on. These were done by someone else, so we're just going to drill these out, use some T-nuts, and get it done. So let's go ahead and finish this up. All right, so just to show you what it looks like. So we got a couple screws up here. Yes, I'm going to put the ones in the inside ones, but this is the tool I use right here. Just kind of stick it in there, and then I slowly start to turn it until it starts to screw in, and then I just kind of, tighten it all the way. I prefer a screwdriver this long because the shorty ones just don't give me enough leverage, so this one gives me plenty of leverage. That way I can get my hand around the whole entire thing and use as much force as I can to tighten these bad boys. So you want them real nice and tight, so that way they don't back out. Eventually over time and vibrating because the basketballs, they will tend to back out, and then you'll have to come in here and just kind of, you know, give them a couple little torques and tighten it back up. Super simple. If they're too loose, you might put some more tape on the back side just to kind of hold it, and then just kind of tighten them up, or get a buddy and have them hold it and then tighten them up, and then, you know, move on to the next one. So let's go ahead and finish up the rest of these so we can move on to the left side. Oh, excuse me, the right side, well, depending on where you're standing. All right, so let's finish up. All right, so I have this side ready and prepped. So what I did is I lined everything up. So the bottom screws on this side and the ones on this side are exactly already the same size as the actual T-nut. So I use those as my guides. So I'll put those in so that way this has been spread out to the correct size, and I can then drill my tops out so that way they're all lined up and perfect. Anyway, so I got the two ones on the corners done, or on the end, lined it all up, and then, you know, drill my holes. So now I can actually drill right through there, go on the other side, put the T-nut on there, tape them down, and then come on this side and put the screw in. But before we do all that, we have to make sure we put the spaces in here. If you don't put those spaces in here, what's gonna happen is the walls are gonna close in a little tighter, which then is gonna put more strain on the actual gate on the underside of this, and it'll be too tight. It's like squeezing it like this, and then the gate's gonna have a hard time moving. It's gonna bind up on its own, and eventually the motor will burn out, and then I'll have to replace the motor. Why? Because we didn't put these spaces on here. Yes, that little bit of space there will make a difference if you squeeze this in there. It may not do it right away, but it'll do it eventually. So always put the spaces on the correct side. You don't need spaces on this side, but you do need spaces on this side. So let's get out, put the T-nuts on the other side, tape them down, get back in the game, put the spacers in, screw everything together, and then we can be done with this game. All right, so I have the T-nut already on the other side. I have some tape holding those down. I have my spacers. These spacers are gonna go in between the metal and the wall here, just like that. And then the bolts will go in there and then bolt everything down. So let's go ahead and start putting these bad boys in, get the screws in there, tighten everything down, and then be done with this bad boy. Let's go ahead and slap these bad boys in there. Okay, so we got all our nuts in, all our T-nuts in. We got the spacers on, both sides are done. All that's left is to clean up the inside of the game, clean up any of our mess that we have down here, maybe even clean the game a little bit, period. Go on the other side, remove the tape, clean the tape off, any tape residue, and then that's it. You know, the game should be good to go. So let me show you what the other side looks like after I clean it and make it look a little bit more presentable. So let me jump out of this game and get that done. Okay, so I have removed the duct tape or any kind of tape that you put on there. I used a little bit of a vandal remover to remove any of the residue from the glue. So you can see they look quite nicely. In fact, the side of the game looks pretty nice. It just looks like rivets. Looks like a part of the game instead of something that I just kind of added in there. Both sides have been done. Just gotta clean these up a little bit more, and then that should be it. So you can see over here, you can see all the little residue of the tape. I've been working on the one alongside to the blue one for a while now as well. But a little vandal remover. On a rag or spray it on there. It should remove this tape right off real good. But that's really it. So that's what is the fix that I am doing to keep these cover plates for the gate to stay on there for good, using the T-nuts. All right, well, that's all I can show you for this. It was a pretty good project. Next step is to finish up the other two and get those done. All right, well, thanks for watching.